Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Men LP, New Moon. The Men are a New York band, and this is their fourth full-length LP. And over the course of their relatively short career, up until this point, they have showcased a serious knack for emulation and versatility, meaning they know how to play a lot of different styles of music, everything from noise rock to shoegaze to psych rock, garage rock as well, maybe a little bit of post-hardcore, country. The band is really difficult to place stylistically, and I'm not sure if they want to be placed anywhere, especially given the fact that their last full-length album was easily their most diverse so far. But on top of that, the Men make another surprising change of pace on this new album as well. The Men actually kinda go country for a good portion of this new full-length LP. There are numerous tracks that have harmonica, maybe a little bit of piano of the honky-tonk inspired variety, some guitar chord progressions that have a very, very folky flavor to them. However, I wouldn't say the band gets too caught up in their chameleon-like nature to copy these different musical styles. Their punk, garage, and lo-fi roots are still very apparent in their kind of rough playing that can be a little loose at times. On tracks like Without a Face and The Seeds, the Men definitely head out west, but they don't forget to bring their New York attitude along the way. The song Without a Face has this screaming harmonica playing against these guitar riffs as well as drum beats that just chug along quickly like a train and have some real tension. And the song Seeds, with its kind of strange imagery coming from the lyrics with these seeds of my mind, and the vocals which are singing these lyrics in a sort of eccentric way. It's one of the weirder tracks on this LP. Plus, on top of that, the acoustic guitar playing in the background on this song is really, really loose, adding to this kind of endearing, sloppy quality that this track has. However, there are many other moments on this album where when the Men go country, it really comes off as like city slicker country, about as city slicker as you're gonna get. City slicker country in the highest order. Like the opening track on here, Open the Door. The playing on this song, especially coming from the piano, is so freaking timid. I almost thought it was like kind of a joke song. The singing on this LP actually turns really, really sour on the track I Saw Her Face, which was a bit of a surprise because typically the Men's vocals are usually on point. It's not like they're beautiful or gorgeous singers or anything like that. I mean, a lot of their vocals do have kind of a punk, a garage aesthetic to them, but when they're trying to sing clean like this, sing maybe a ballad, it's not really going over too well. The singing is actually really weak on other moments here too, like Bird's Song. And the playing, the performance of the instruments on this track is especially freaking weak. The way the piano and the harmonica open up this song, it feels like I'm listening to just a really bad bar band play this horrific alt country that slaps the genre of country in the face. The band starts to pull some teenage heartstrings circa 1958 with the song High and Lonesome, which is a cute little instrumental, and then miraculously the Men start to kick some ass. They start whipping out that punk aggression with the track The Brass. It's a track that in comparison to almost every other song on here just makes the seas run red with blood. But honestly, from a melodic standpoint, it's really not much of a tune. There's not really anything memorable about it, but it has an attitude, it has an aesthetic to it that the Men pull off so much more convincingly than many of the country tracks on this LP. The band's rough around the edges sound takes a sort of rock and roll twist with the song Electric, which dropped before this LP. It was a good song when it dropped. It's still a good track. Kind of like the song The Brass, the tune isn't really a standout, catchy, stick in the back of my head tune, but the band has electricity to the way that they play together when they go for a more aggressive rock sound. After having reviewed 3 full-length albums from these guys, it just feels like at this point that I'm destined to just get a mixed bag of tracks on every single new Men album, which wouldn't be a bad thing if all of them were as consistent as Open Your Heart, but especially on this new LP, that doesn't seem to be the case. It doesn't work in their favor for them to be embracing genres where they're not really that comfortable and can't perform to the extent that they should to make an entertaining song. This shows up in most of the country flavored tunes on this album and the last track as well, which is this just hard-hitting 8-minute long psychedelic rock song with a garage punk edge to it. And while I do like the fact that the band wanted to go out and do a jam, it just doesn't feel like they have the musical chops to make a song of this style that is this long, engaging from front to back, because a lot of the guitar phrasing gets kind of old after a while, the drums feel just too static, and the song itself becomes just a bit of a snoozer after several minutes, with a guitar riff that just screams MC5 kick out the jams. Given the fact that I felt the album Leave Home that came out a few years ago was pretty good, and that Open Your Heart was a great improvement upon that, and was more adventurous, had better tunes on it, I thought the men were ready with New Moon to write a fantastic record. I mean, a tip-top record. But in my opinion, it seems like their ambitions to create this musical group that is hyper-evolutionary, changing in this great way with every single release, kind of caught up with them in a way, because it backed them into a corner in which they weren't really able to live up to the genres they were trying to copy performance-wise. The playing wasn't there to back up these new sounds that they were shooting for, and it just resulted in a very lackluster record, in my opinion. I'm feeling a decent to strong 4 on this thing. If you've given it a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And yeah, that's it. The Men, New Moon, forever.